Algorithmic trauma bonds, hooked into a broken job market, how platforms condition isolated dependency, and how community reviews restore agency. Hi, my name is Sarah Trouble. I'm the founder and CEO of the Job Applicant Perspective, the first anonymous user reviews for job ads across the U.S. This is the level of go-to-market awareness for our platform innovation on online hiring. We consider ourselves Yelp in a world of professionally mandated fine dining with no health department and no FDA. Eventually hope to morph into a Google map of the online hiring market. But we'll see. Right now, I'm a little go-to-market awareness. This comes from a blog post on my Substack that I use to just get information out there, do education. We're flipping a $100 billion market because you know what? Screw it. Let's do this thing. Because, I don't know, nobody tells me what to do. I just don't like that autistic ADHD, PDA energy and that systems thinking. So consider me your Alexandra Hamilton, because I will say that I am autistic ADHD with a bad family backstory, unnaturally long-winded, transparent, super loyal, extremely driven. I do not like being told what to do, and, really brilliant at systems. So this is my stab at this. But yeah, let's keep going and we'll see what you think. And I hope you'll stop by because, I'm right. So there's that. The hook. Have you ever stayed on a dating app long after you knew it was making you miserable? Or kept sending job applications into the void even when you suspected a lot of the postings weren't real? That isn't laziness. It's not irrational hope. It's design. Platforms have learned how to create a level of algorithmic trauma bonds, training us to stay hooked on systems that quietly profit from our failure. Who this is for? It's for job seekers sending out hundreds of applications and hearing nothing back. Employers wondering why they have to put up road signs in an age of AI. Researchers and policymakers trying to understand why platforms like Indeed, LinkedIn, and Tinder keep growing even as trust collapses. And anyone sensing that our online systems aren't just inefficient, they're psychologically shaping us. Trauma bonds 101. In personal relationships, trauma bonds form when the same source causes us harm and offers us intermittent relief. Validation and rejection come in unpredictable cycles. Your nervous system learns, if I just try harder, I can make this work. The unpredictability itself hooks you. You stop tracking reality and start tracking the hope of resolution. In behavioral science, this is the power of variable ratio reinforcement. Maybe the next one hits schedule that's hardest to extinguish, and this comes from the American Psychological Association Dictionary. Platforms replicate the same logic. Algorithmic platforms scale this exact pattern. You're ghosted by 100 jobs, and then you're told you're a top candidate. You're ignored by dozens of matches, and then someone liked you, pings your phone. You invest more, thinking relief is just around the corner. But here's the design flaw. These platforms don't succeed when you succeed. They succeed when you think you're just about to, right around the corner. They are a slot machine for relationships. Every frustration feeds engagement. Every failed connection feeds the system. Think gigantic magic claw machines. An engagement trap for one side is an engagement trap for the other, Let's ground this where the harm cuts deepest. Revelio Labs has the hires per postings ratio fell from 0.75 in 2018 to less than 0.5 in 2023, meaning fewer than half of online postings now lead to a hire. Bureau of Labor and Statistics, the hires rate averaged 3.8% in 2023, with a tight band of versus recent years, roughly 3.8 to 4.3% during 2020 to 2023. No commensurate surge in hiring to match posting volume. But Recruit Holdings, which owns Indeed and Glassdoor, revenue paid per job ad rose in Q4 fiscal year 2024, even as the number of paid job ads decreased. Overall HR tech revenue fell year over year. Interpretation. If you're going with the economics of it, the platform's financial heartbeat depends less on whether a vacancy is resolved and more on how many times the same unresolved need can be monetized. Resurface, sponsor, boost. So it's strategically useful if you believe the solution is always just around the corner. This is trauma bond logic in action. The more the system fails, the harder people work inside it. Convinced relief is just one more click, one more repost, one more upgrade away. It's not irrational, it's conditioning. Intermittent likes and matches keep you coming back. Ghosting is common, but you stay convinced the right one is in the next swipe. The platform's incentives are misaligned with yours. It monetizes continued use, not exits. Different markets, same nervous system hijack. What's the mechanism? When investors judge growth on ARR, LTV, and CAC and NRR tied to circulations, impressions, clicks, and applications rather than verified hires, founders and innovators rationally tune product and pricing towards circulation. ARR is annual recurring revenue. LTV is lifetime volume. CAC is customer acquisition costs, and NRR is net returning revenue. Right? That creates game variable ratio reinforcement that keeps people playing. Capital, like investors, invites and KPIs, key performance indicators that are ARR, LTV, CAC, and NRR. KPIs create pricing and product. They monetize circulation versus resolution. The product creates the user design loops. Alerts, boosts, reposts, and nudges. The user design creates the behavior, variable ratio persistence. The net effect, revenue rises with tries, not hires, perverse incentives, economists, Akerloff's market for lemons. This is not okay. Thank you so much. The mechanism I use to address it. At the Job Applicant Perspective, I changed the frame entirely to support engagement while offering solutions. In my accelerator, I separated user acquisition costs from customer acquisition costs because the unit of value I'm essentially selling is trust, not engagement, because trust brings engagement and resolution. Both of those things can be true if you do trust. Maximizing job seeker trust for profit is hiring outcomes plus job seeker community. You don't have to isolate people. That's not how gaming works. There's a reason that people don't. You get to play this online user game, but you're super alone and you feel dehumanized while doing it will not bring engagement. This is where a shifted reference frame from what HR tech could or should be addresses two major socioeconomic ills. Community and belonging for people lost in shamed isolation from what hiring has been for 20 plus years. Tens of millions of isolated, shamed, capable, yet long-term underemployment because of the current economic model of HR tech are no civic society's friend. Resolution for people looking for work or looking to hire, reducing the economic detriment from the current profit model. Community and empathy actually does grow on trees. Offering this paradigm shift in how we look at hiring is both an economic, societal, and civic value is powerful, both economically and societally, because it alleviates harm related to multiple entrenched societal ills at once, while offering the possibility of something even more. Using the agency that treating job seekers as people worth learning from could be creates the stronger revenue stream opportunity to start corralling white-labeled HCS systems, staffing and recruiting firms, and more into my reputation as a service revenue stream. The long-term goal is to spin the flywheel of the online job market to the point of pulling the whole market into the service of its stakeholders. This lets employers choose the hiring tools the way you choose a restaurant for a first date, based on reviews of the actual experience, not the menu's description. Note that for me, a human system, a great series of interlocking human engagements should be coherent and adaptable in a way that is undeniable for those just seeing the functionality. It must bring practical, immediate value, regardless of whether it is fully understood by its users. But also, it should be elegant, strong, with a symmetry that those who come after me with my skill set could recognize like an Easter egg. All structures decay and shift in time. All structures need repair, physical, social, economic, or otherwise. But even so, when I used to walk the shoulder streets in Topeka, Kansas, looking at decaying houses, great houses from the late 1800s, it was magnificent for me. I know houses built with love when I see it. I mean to build my economic innovations with equivalent care. I don't know how to explain it. Architecture systemically for me it's not just, there's a thing that you could do. Some things, it's like anybody can build a house, but to build something beautiful, like, matters. Ruminations aside, obviously I wouldn't still be at the forefront of a paradigm shift in what hiring tech is or should or could be if I'd already landed $1 million buy-in. But I make my distinctions between existing tech and what I've created the sapling version of nonetheless. The challenge of being a first mover is entirely accurately understood by most business advisors. Education. what we've learned, what we've lost. Lateral trust. In healthy marketplaces, think ride sharing or short-term rentals, lateral reputation flows between users. In hiring and dating, trust often flows vertically into the platform. You can't see which employers ghost, you can't tell which listings are stale, and you can't verify whether a match is real. Opaque design keeps you dependent, and dependency is the product. In a world where dependency is the product, for me, agency and community is the solution. Join the conversation, not the. If you've ever wished you could compare notes with other job seekers to know which listings are real, which employers follow through, you are not alone. That's why we built and promote the Job Applicant Perspective. Anonymous hiring reviews and shared reputational data. Think of it like road conditions in the snowstorm of the online labor market. Less wasted time, fewer dead ends, and more trust in a snowstorm. You do not call the corporate office in for advice. You listen to people. Check the research. I have open access work on theory of online market gravity. This refers to my principle 6, emotional infrastructure as economic infrastructure, why witness and transparency is a market function, not fluff. The architecture of dysfunction in modern labor markets, structural failures, and principle 3, two-sided trust principle. I also have external receipts. I'll put a lot of these links below on what intermittent rewards are and all that, and ATS issues, ghost job issues. In closing, from dependency to agency, these platforms were built to keep you hooked, not help you win. Once you recognize that, the shame shifts. You weren't failing, you're being conditioned. Breaking free starts with visibility, with comparing experiences, with building systems that answer to people again. Shifting from dependency to agency, from vertical trust in platforms to lateral trust in each other. Thank you. I think it's gangbusters, guys. There's good stuff here. And I hope that anybody, I see you. I see all of you. And it can have been Maui stealing the heart of Tafiti and turning her into Taka, into the U.S. into Taka. But we have to give the heart back, you know? Have to give it back. So consider me your Moana. I don't know. Obviously, Lin-Manuel Miranda makes some great, music. So not sorry. It's music. But yeah, no, I hope you stop by or stop by the website if you're academically interested in this kind of thing. Stop by my SSRN. If you want to drop a comment, that would be great too. Like, follow, share, and repost. And if you want to use the first user reviews for online hiring, stop by there too. Stay sane out there.